We're the guardians of the ancient wisdom. We started doing this project together in about 2005.
We live together so we can be creative like 24/7.
Yeah. That's the good point of it. That's right.
Yeah.
But
things get tense and
in terms of like ordering each other around in the studio, you know, you can get away with saying things that you wouldn't say to like another vocalist.
Yeah, definitely.
We started off as just as MC.
Yeah, we just used to have a backing track and go up there and spit our lyrics, but like obviously one, I'm a girl and that's never really gone down too good in the hip hop world, and two, what we're chatting about really is not the same old, innit? So it's quite hard. It was hard for us to get gigs.
We've come to accept the fact that we're just outsiders. I like playing instruments. I like playing with a live band. I like saying things that are, a bit more intelligent.
For me, if people aren't learning a thing from what I'm saying, I just don't actually see the point in it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my, But like, I write lyrics to like open people's minds. Like it's just that is it for me. I don't want.
Yeah. It shouldn't be self-indulgent.
No,
it should be like much deeper than just the everyday Kylie Minogue or that sort of stuff. That's just pop music. But real art.
I thought he was going to say we're close to God then. Just like really,
really up their own arses. In terms of our inspiration, I think like first and foremost it's like punk, really.
Yeah, without a doubt, the whole DIY thing.
Yeah, and that's what I started off. That's what I started off on years ago. When I was in my early teens, it was like listening to punk music, and I drew so many parallels with hip hop from that. In that, like, there's during the late 70s, there's like all these sort of disenfranchised white kids from England that really had nothing going for them, and that's where punk came out of. And at the same time in New York, there's the same thing happening with disenfranchised black kids, and they basically just took it on themselves to like do their own thing and make their own music. And both of those musics really, they're the same. They're just the same.
Messages as well, rather than being like completely self-indulgent. Like
Yeah.
Music can be.
Yeah, the whole idea of the song is what I need. I just don't have.
Including like a director, a cameraman, a makeup artist.
Just everything. We end up doing everything ourselves. But it's like, that's the sort of the DIY aspect of it, the sort of the punk and the white label aspect of it, is that like we're doing it all ourselves.
The bath scene's my mum's bath, because we don't.
Yeah, we ain't even got a bar.
Oh, we have a shower, no, but we don't.
Yeah, it's not like we don't want. The original idea of this project was that we wrote an album based on a book called Guardians of the Ancient Wisdom, by a writer, a friend of ours called Stan Gooch.
Yeah, Stan Gooch.
And we've turned every chapter of the book into a tune, and so by the end you get a good understanding of what the book's about.
After reading his books, we ultimately, like all our lyrics, when you take on a philosophy that you understand and relate it to your life, our lyrics as a result have kind of really been influenced by that.
Our interest in duality and Stan's interest in duality is a sort of a long-standing interest that humanity's had forever, and that's what he's trying to point out, is that for all of time there's been this sort of conflict in humanity between the dark and the light, or between the sun and the moon.
Good and evil. Like we define it as that as humans. Like there isn't actually such a thing as good and evil. It's not like nature is good and evil. No. As humans, we've kind of categorised things as the two sides.
Our world is a result of how our minds are structured. So the fact that we have two conflicting parts of the brain that are constantly in conflict is reflected in the world at large. So at the moment we've got a sun religion versus a moon religion. When you look at the Islamic flag and you look at the Christians with their Jesus with his sun over his head, and you look at the other people with their moon as their flag, and that's what we're looking at, is this conflict being fought out on a global scale. At the moment we're looking at like this situation now where there's people saying global warming is caused by man, global warming is caused by nature. we're still looking at this conflict between,
You've got
two
left and right
completely
wing
different ways of
always, haven't
thinking.
you, as well?
That's right. It's the left who are saying it's down to man, and it's the right wing who are saying it's down to nature. It's the split again between
the ignorance.
between two ways of
Unfortunately,
thinking.
though, is just laziness, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Like, why is there only two choices? Why is there only like either black or white, or left or right? Why isn't there like 10 different choices? Why isn't there as many choices as there are gods or ways of thinking?
So
But in the end, everyone polarizes themselves. Everyone says, you've got to choose one or the other. You know what I mean? If you're like left wing, you don't like the right wing. If you're right wing, you don't like the left wing. Like, there's never anyone says, I'm a bit of both, really. I think this, I think that. And so you get problems like immigration gets polarized really quickly. It becomes something where people are either like totally for immigration or totally against it. There's never people like with a reasonable point of view. I think there's been like a general dumbing down of like, in education and everything. They don't read 1984 anymore. You ask most people what Big Brother is, they think it's a TV program.
Yeah, it's true. I think the scary thing is that it's like they're doing it very slowly, so people, if maybe they would have been conscious of it, but I don't think they are.
What if they're just coming like that?
Yeah.
But
it's like these little steps, like it's like the more cameras, isn't it? And then
but remember that report on TV they showed like George Orwell's house had like 40 cameras outside it or something.
Funny, yeah.
Now like they just said he would never have, and I thought that was a really good point. Is that like, you go to where he lived and probably wrote that book. And it's like now it's like 40 cameras outside it, like, filming everything that's going on.
But I think people don't think that it's really invading their privacy, because it's just they promote this idea that it's for your protection, and people are so paranoid anyway, that they're going to get attacked or whatever, that they actually think it's a benefit.